There we go. Welcome to another episode of Exotica TV. My name is Jay. We're bringing in a brand new co-host on this one, a brand new co-host for a brand new show. How about that? Hey, Kari, how are you?
Hey, I'm fantastic and fabulous. How are you?
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Make your introduction.
Oh, wow. I'm not a porn star. I just play one on TV. I'm a retired mattress actress, and now I'm just a social media MILF that stays home and quarantines like everybody else.
Sounds like this quarantine was built for you.
I've been training for this for the last 15 years, actually. This is nothing new for me. I work from home all day anyway, so yeah.
Fire up another webcam. What can you say?
Yeah, I've kind of ordered 2 more, so.
Can only imagine. So we're super excited today because this is our premiere episode of what we're calling Boob Tube. Obviously, quarantine time. We're sitting here. Everybody has no excuse to spend hours in front of a television, and by now, I think a lot of people have probably dug through some of the low-hanging fruits and, always need new ideas and new kind of insights into things. And so we came up with this idea, BoobTube. And, Kari and I started talking about it, and it was like, oh, man, we got to do this.
Well, I think a lot of people are watching the same things that we are and want to hear our perspective or maybe hear about some shows that we've seen that they haven't quite checked out yet and can maybe relate or hate with us or whatever.
Relate or hate?
Relate or hate. I should have made those our cue cards.
Seriously, somebody call a copyright attorney. That's impressive. Maybe we might rename the show. What was it? Hate or what was it?
Relate or hate.
Relate or hate. Yeah. Okay, never mind. We'll stick with Boob Tube. So
Boob's definitely more interesting.
The other side of all of these ever-growing Exotica TV shows that we have is that it allows me the best opportunity in the world to just fade off into the distance. So I'm going to hand over to Kari this show. She's going to be leading us through. I very rarely do we have some folks as well planned as these guys. So I'm excited to hear their tips and tricks. So Kari, do you want to go ahead and bring out your other, what are we calling them? Panelists, co-hosts?
Those are my co-hosts. Bring them on. Let's
All
bring
right.
them on.
Very cool. Well, here we go. Why don't you do the introductions?
I sure will. Coming from, you're in Atlanta, right, Casey?
I am in Atlanta, yes.
Down south, representing down south. I'm in Baltimore, Maryland, so I've got the Northeast kind of covered. We've got Casey Carter down south. And from Canada, Desiree, a.k.a. Desirable Bottom.
Hey.
Hello. Casey, why don't you give us a little bit of information about yourself?
Okay, so I am a writer of erotic short stories. I do fetish clips. And when I'm just chilling, I am smoking cigars as much as possible.
Desiree, the floor is now yours.
Okay, I am from Toronto, Canada, as you all know. I've been to a couple adult entertainment shows. I also do online clip sharing or have an official website, as well as other premium snaps and other social media that people can interact with me in regarding to that. So
Absolutely. So today we are going to be doing a few things. We've got, show us your cue cards. We've got smash or pass. Oh, she put dump up first. Smash or pass. I'll do my bump and dump. We got bump and dump. We've got watched, cued, and uninterested. Oh, look, I love you. We haven't seen each other's cards yet, so we're seeing each other's cards for the first time. And then we've got true and false. Because there are going to be some questions that I'm going to ask, and you can answer true or false. And rather than all of us talking at the same time, I felt like our cue cards would be so much more interesting. So first, I wanted to say, rest in heaven, Brian Dennehy. Do you know who Brian Dennehy is?
Yes.
Okay, he's 80. He was 81. He passed today, and I actually met him. I used to work at Denny's, jobs before jobs before our adult careers, but I worked at Denny's. I was a hostess / coffee filler. And he would come I lived in Ventura, California, and he would come into the Denny's every morning. I worked night shift from 10 until 8 in the morning. And he would come in at like 5:30, 6 o'clock every morning, order the same exact thing, and mostly it was coffee. And he was super, super nice. He would order a coffee which cost like at the time like 87, 89 cents and leave me $20. And I was like, oh my gosh. And you know what it was? He left me a note on a napkin, and I wish I still had it. And he said, "You have always been really, really nice to me, and that's why he always leaves me the $20. And it's because I knew he was a famous actor. I remembered him from Cocoon, but I never was like, oh my gosh, Brian Dennehy's drinking coffee at the bar. Sure. Then again, I didn't have social media back then, so it's not like we didn't have cell phones, so it wasn't like I could selfie with them. So anyways, rest in heaven, Brian Dennehy. Oh. Also, some important facts today. In 2018, Kendrick Lamar won the first Pulitzer Prize for a non-jazz or classical musician, which I thought was pretty awesome for his album Damn. I love Kendrick Lamar, but I thought that was an interesting fact. And birthdays, because I love to do like today in history, because they're random facts that people don't know or don't think about. But John Cryer, do you know what he's from?
Yes. He was in one of my favorite Molly Ringwald movies.
Pretty in Pink. He was Ducky.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. I love that movie. And I love him as an actor. I feel like him, John Cusack, and Andrew McCarthy. Is that his name? Andrew McCarthy? Yeah, they were some of the Breakfast Club, aka St. Elmo's Fire crew. But yeah, totally a fan of those 80s stars. And it's so cool to watch their careers, because I feel like as 80s actors, a lot of like Judd Nelson, he's kind of came and went. But those three for me are like sustaining great actorship, I guess is what you call it. I don't know. They've been great actors and like evolved wonderfully. But also today is Martin Lawrence's birthday.
Martin.
Who we're going to talk about because they just put out the movie Bad Boys for Life.
Right.
And sadly, these are movies that I really, really, really wanted to see in the theater, because you just don't get the same effect at home as you do in the theater. I love the stereo surround. Like, I like being in the theater, and like when the loud scenes happen, you kind of get that vibration.
Yeah, and the sound seems to travel through the room.
Right.
Yeah.
You almost feel like, if you've ever watched a movie in an IMAX theater, you almost feel like you're in the movie. You get into the movie if it's a good movie. There's been a couple of movies that I saw that I was like, on my phone, not really paying attention, but like Bad Boys. And it's funny because I saw Bad Boys at a drive-in in California when it first came out.
Wow.
Yeah.
R.I.P. drive-ins, right?
Right.
But yeah, those are some things. Today was Selena, the infamous Mexican singer that was killed. Today was her birthday.
Oh.
Akon. Which, did you know that Akon discovered Lady Gaga?
Really?
Yes. Thank you,
Wow.
Akon, because I love me some Lady Gaga. Who was in one of the shows we're going to talk about, which is American Horror Story. Well, she was only in one season. She only played the vampire, which was Hotel. I can't remember it. Something Hotel, but yeah. Lady Gaga. She was pretty. I don't think as far as an actress she was that great, but just her demeanor and like the costumes that she wore and like the makeup was freaking phenomenal. She definitely was classy. So that's enough for that shit. So what are you watching on TV right now, Miss Desiree, Desirable Bottom?
So I've been watching a couple things on Netflix, actually. So a couple series, a couple new movies that have been out. I'm really looking forward to the new Saw movie coming out this year. Speaking of like horror topics.
There's a Saw movie coming out?
Yeah, the most recent one is coming out. So
Wow.
impressive. As well as on Netflix, they seem to be quarantining movies. So it's just, as we're in that phase of the outbreak and the pandemic. So other than that, just trying to stay sane. Yeah, I'm mostly working out, trying to get into a better routine because of that too. It's hard to stay focused and stay on schedule, I guess, when you're used to having a schedule away from home and then from home too.
Well, I think for a lot of adult stars who have children that live with them, their schedules have definitely had to change because they have to work around, and then for some, they're unable to work at all because, you can't really be, popping your twat and doing the crazy things that we do with your kids in the room or close by, or you know what I mean? So I'm pretty sure a lot of people are being affected by the quarantine, if anything, going insane with not being able to do the adult stuff that we're able to do because, you got to be careful with ears and eyes, right, that are, and then having to school them. Like, there's a lot of big changes that have happened as a result of being quarantined in this mandatory lockdown. So it's interesting to hear how everyone's story is different. I personally don't have any animals. I don't have any small children or anyone at home. I have a couple of roommates that are grown, and, I can tell them to shut up and go to a room and do whatever I want, wherever I want. So that's a big luxury for me. But I'm sure that there's people out there that have, children and other situations, even pets, because nobody wants to let their pets out for fear of bringing in any outside crap. But Casey, what are you watching? Tell us what you're watching.
I have become absolutely obsessed with Money Heist.
Okay.
Why?
Initially, I found it interesting because it's uninterested. I'm sorry.
No, I want to hear about it, but I was uninterested till now. So tell me about it.
Well, okay, because initially I didn't think I could watch it because it's Spanish, and then my sister was like, "Well, turn on the English." I was like, "Oh, okay." Well, I just got wrapped up in this idea that they could plan a money heist, like literally rob the Spanish mint. Have every contingency thought through. It just, every time I think, oh my God, they're caught, they're not caught. They planned for being caught, or they planned for escaping, or, they had this long thought out plan, and now I'm in part 4, and they had a second long thought out plan for if they got caught after they didn't get caught. So I'm constantly watching to see what's going to happen. What little scenario can they get themselves out of? And I'm totally all fascinated and caught up.
That's why I watched Power, because I found it so, I mean, aside from the fact that it had amazing eye candy, because I like women and men, so I like watching the entire cast. Yeah. And I'm a big fan of 50 Cent, but I really liked watching Power because I'm a big enthusiast for watching forensic files and murder dramas, because I like to see how people commit a crime and the things that they think about that I probably wouldn't think about. And then after the fact, how did you get caught? Stupid shit hair follicles or a carpet fiber or, fingerprints on some random tool, or, you know what I mean? Silly. Or for me, I always think about, I have a bunch of things that I stole from the hospital, like the footies. Yeah. And I was watching one of the forensic files, and the person who committed the crime had the footies on, which is why they couldn't identify the footprint, the shoe print. And I was like, oh, that's so smart. And so when you talk about Money Heist and how they had came up with all of these different contingency plans and how they thought out each and every aspect. And even once they get caught, what to say. It's like if someone breaks into your house and you say that on First 48, they had an episode where they're like, if they say that my life was in danger and they shot the person in self-defense, they're going to let them go. And I was like, yeah, that part.
Right. Yeah.
Or watching a movie or a series where they shoot themselves with the other person's gun after they killed them, just to be like, they shot me in the leg, so I had to shoot back. Like, I wouldn't think of that. In situations where I'm in a panic, I probably would just be like, okay, I did it.
Right.
I don't know if I could like cover it up.
Yeah, well, and that's the tricky part. That is what makes some of those shows so fascinating, is the what do you do when you get caught, the what do you say. I'm always
Nothing.
like you.
Nothing.
Well,
Get an attorney.
That's the whole point. You should not say anything. But yeah, that's some of the fun, though, is seeing them get caught and then seeing how do they get out or maneuver or what have you. But one of my other absolute favorite obsessions on Netflix, Tiger King. Not gonna lie.
Yes.
Not gonna lie.
Yes.
Oh my God. Could you be any more insane than that? I mean, everybody on that show is a character of some kind. And that just makes me want to sit and watch more. Who else can you pull out that is absolutely crazy? I mean, Who's not crazy on that show?
Right. But you know what? If they were to do an episode or like if they were to do a series on porn, like they did with Tiger King, you would have a similar effect where you would be like, how do you get all of these crazy characters into one freaking series? And then there's just so many more in porn. Like with Tiger King, there's only so many, big cat sanctuaries that you can, put in the show. But porn stars, please. It would be a never-ending series. Because we're crazy. We got to be crazy to do this, right? For me, I am so in love with Ozark. I am a huge Jason Bateman fan. And so I love Ozark. And I love Ozark because a lot of the roles that he plays are like kind of comedy, kind of like he's always the good guy that, is like really vanilla and doesn't get into trouble. And he kind of played that in Ozark, but it was so awesome to watch his character evolve from, the quote unquote good guy accountant to this like ability to launder money and the creative ways that he comes up with, like trying to mask this money, knowing that, his family could be killed. And the final episode of season 3, you got to watch it. I'm not going to, no spoilers here, hashtag. But I was so, like every season for me is just more and more like shocking. And one of the things for me is I'm pretty quick with coming up with like what's going to happen. And so I love to watch TV series and movies where I can't figure out what's going to happen. I love being surprised and, shit coming. Like one movie, for example, Sixth Sense. I did not know Bruce Willis was dead.
Yeah.
I didn't know. And so at the end, I just sat there like, I just watched an entire movie that I thought this kid just talked to ghosts. And all the while, I'm like, Bruce Willis was dead? Those types of movies, I always remember Sixth Sense because it blew me out. It blew me off my feet. I thought I had everything figured out. I thought that I knew the whole, like, and I'm watching it and I'm interested because I'm big on paranormal. But at the end, when it just went, I was like, oh yeah, bomb ass movie. Like I will forever be, that's like my number one. There's a couple of movies that I've seen since then, but Sixth Sense always comes to mind when I think about like that knock me off my feet surprise. So there's Ozark, and I'm looking at my sheet. I'm waiting for the next American Horror Story to come out, but I love that series. And Little Fires Everywhere.
I haven't watched that one yet. How is that?
It is really good. It has Reese Witherspoon and Kari, Washington, I think is her name.
Yes.
Kari Washington. And, Reese Witherspoon always plays that. She's been stuck in that role, like the goody two-shoe housewife and, can do no wrong. And in this series, she plays like an OCD mom who has 4 kids and lives in this, really, they have money. And Kari Washington plays, and it's set in the 80s. And Kari Washington plays this artist who has this like really dark background. And somehow they intertwine, their lives intertwine, and the daughter of Kerry Washington becomes really good friends. Now, mind you, she's an African-American teenager who's now, hanging out with these Caucasian upper class teenagers, and just showing the different lives of the girl who's, they're struggling to pay bills. Meanwhile, she's hanging out with the teenagers that have money, and how their perspectives on everything from life are different.
Right. Okay.
But how they're so similar, and really what it ends up being is that the upper class Caucasian family have a bunch of deep, dark secrets. Meanwhile, Kerry Washington and her pretty, everything's out there on the forefront lifestyle is like, you're up here trying to act like everything's perfect. Meanwhile, you've had an affair and all of these things come to light. And it's working up to the part where somebody put the Reese Witherspoon's house on fire, but we don't know who did it, because she's having problems with her youngest teenage daughter, who's, in this dark space and having like serious mental health issues. And, then Reese Witherspoon is also pissed off Kerry Washington's character. So she could have possibly put the house on fire.
Okay.
So it's definitely interesting. And right now, Reese is so she's a news reporter for the local paper. It's like a little small town. And she's researching, going into Kerry Washington's character, her background, and digging up all this information. And it's like, you're really playing with fire. So it's interesting that her house burns. So yeah, that is one of the shows that I've been watching. It comes on Wednesdays, but that's like the segue into like my obsession, which is paranormal. Do you believe in ghosts?
Yeah, I believe in spirits. Yeah.
Good. Because if you'd have said no, I might have to X you. No, I'm just kidding. I'd have had to do the pass. Hold on, let me grab my pass.
Okay.
So I've been watching celebrity ghost stories.
Oh,
yeah. Because I love celebrities and I love ghosts. So I figured, a show about celebrity ghost stories is really interesting. So have you ever had a paranormal experience?
No, but I lived in Monroe, Connecticut. Monroe, Connecticut is home to the Warrens, the world famous paranormal.
Lorraine and Bob Warren.
There you go. And so there have been, there were places in town that they used to say, don't go here, don't go there. Little cemeteries in the old part of town that we used to go to, and they were the cemetery, the road ran on either, between the cemeteries. There was a cemetery on either side. You weren't supposed to ride down the road at a certain time of night because so we used to do it all the time, looking for something to happen. Nothing ever happened.
Like Bloody Mary.
Right. I did that. I did do that. Nothing happened. But
you know what it is? It's a psychological game. There's no Bloody Mary. It's when you listen to folklore and like urban legends, and then you go and you do it. When you turn the lights out, and then you put those thoughts into your head, then you're tricking yourself.
Yeah. And see, at the time that I did that, I lived in Long Island, and so I wasn't far from Amityville, and that was back when Amityville horror was a big thing. So like I felt compelled to just do it and see what happened. And you're right in terms of you stand there in the dark, like being in the dark first and foremost. And I was probably 10, something like that. So
I'm 45 and I can't be in the dark. I've run through my hallway because I'm terrified, and it's my fault because I watch paranormal shit.
There you go. Exactly. So yeah, that's my crush with the paranormal. Yeah, doing all that little stuff.
What about you, Desirable Desiree?
Okay, I've had a couple experiences. Where I'm living is my grandparents' house. So I've had a couple brushes with them in regards to just like weird things happening, like just noises. And I'll just be like, Grandma, is this you trying to get a hold of me? Or are you trying to tell me something? And it's true, because they're with me in spirit, and it's a weird experience. Pardon?
That's but that's awesome. At least you know who it is. Like,
Sure.
my problem is I don't have caller ID for Paranormal. So when things happen, oh my gosh. But I think that's how mediums and like psychics are. They know, like they have a way of identifying, like they can see letters and colors and like, you know, like the Kim Russo, who's the one that does celebrity ghost stories. Like she'll be like, this person's name starts with a B, Bob, Billy, you know, like she can identify. For me, it's just crazy shit that happens. And I'm like, I don't know who this is. I though did have a recent experience where I felt like this message was being sent to me, but I couldn't figure out who it was from and I couldn't figure out what the message was. I just knew someone was trying to get my attention. And so the other day I'm talking to my mom and I'm like, hey, we should Skype because life is short. And, you know, with technology at 2020, we should be doing Skype and, you know, seeing each other face to face because she lives in Oklahoma. I live in Baltimore. And somehow, some way, that one Skype call turned into a Zoom meeting with like my entire family.
Nice.
And I had felt my grandmother. She wore Chanel No. 5 perfume, and she had this Chanel the Chanel lipstick that was like this weird pink. And I smelled her, and I could feel her cold little hands in my hand, and her wrinkly and she had like really small hands. But anyways, when all of that happened, it was like this sense of peace happened. And all of a sudden it was like the light went off and it was like ding, you know, because she was like the matriarch of our family and she kept everyone together. So when she passed, we all just kind of went our separate ways. But now that we've accomplished this Zoom family reunion, everything is, you know, cool and calm and collected. But I live in a cam house, which I'm really glad the cameras aren't on now. But I had an experience. One of the models was visiting and another model that was supposed to come ended up passing away.
Oh.
And I was watching the cameras. One of the models was in the room and she's putting on her leggings or stockings and she's like getting dressed for a cam show. And all of a sudden this white mist just like weirdly goes across the room and like out the window. And one of the male talents was here with me and we were at the camera, like we're watching the computer spazzed out like, oh my gosh, did you see that? And he's like, yeah, I saw it. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad someone else saw it with me so they don't think I'm crazy. But it was just like a one time, the girl that was here had like a falling out with the model that passed. And she had this sense of like regret for not saying goodbye or thank you or I'm sorry or whatever. And so I felt like the presence was literally like, everything's okay. I don't feel no way about you or whatever. And then just kind of came and went. Like there was nothing that stayed, luckily. And it didn't feel harmful. I didn't feel like anybody was in danger. But yeah, that was my brush with paranormal. But I'm obsessed.
Did any of you guys play like the Ouija board when you guys were younger?
Okay. Yeah. No.
Yeah. No?
Do not play with that shit. Do not play with that shit. I don't know if I just had like this extreme fear or what the case was, but I had some friends that wanted to go to a graveyard and they brought one and didn't tell me. And the minute I like felt like I went to go put my fingers on the planchet, like it was almost like a shock.
Oh wow.
And I don't know if somebody from the afterlife was like, don't do it. Don't touch that thing. It's not for you. So after that, I was like, I'm good. Thank you. Y'all can tase yourselves. I'm all right. So I left. I walked home by myself. I was like, I would rather walk home by myself than to play with this thing. Cause I mean, it opens up gateways and lets in,
right.
You can't be like only good spirit come through the board.
Right.
You know? And if you watch enough paranormal stuff like me, cause I'm obsessed, you find out that sometimes things that portray themselves as your family members or little children are actually darker. They're darker shit that you need to leave them where they're at. Keep that stuff, you know, keep it where it's at. So anyways, we could talk about paranormal all day and I would be like ever so happy because that's my obsession. Have you ever been to jail?
No.
I have. I only say that because Orange is the New Black. I'm so like obsessed with Orange is the New Black, and now it's over. Like it's over now, and there is no worse feeling than watching a series and it just being like done. Not wait till the next season, but like stop.
Completely
Done.
finished.
Right.
R.I.P. Finito. Like I can wait for the next series. Like I felt that way about Power when they said that they weren't going to be doing like this was the final season. The way they did that though was freaking awesome. Because they were like, oh, this is it. There will be no more Power. And then you watch it and then they're like, oh, but we're going to go back into telling how Ghost became Ghost and how each character became who they were. And I was like,
thank you.
Yeah, another little.
I got bamboozled. I was like, oh, okay. Here I was like all upset. Like it's getting towards the last 15 minutes and they're like, showing who killed Ghost and all this other stuff. And I'm like, oh, and then it's like, stay tuned. And I'm like, for what? This is it. And then they're like, oh, we got more stuff coming. More, they call them books now. I'm like, I got played. Did you watch Power?
Yes, I did.
Did you like it?
I loved it, for sure.
Hold on.
Amazing.
We got to do Bump It.
Bump it.
Bump it.
There's another show on Netflix. If you do like Orange is the New Black, it's called V, which means life in life. But it's Spanish, so you'd have to, they do the English subtitles. But it is interesting. I've been watching that as well.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's do some Smash or Pass, shall we?
Okay.
Sounds great.
Get your Smash or Pass cards.
Okay.
Whoop, 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 whoop,
Got
whoop.
it.
All right.
Got it.
First one is Tiger King.
I'm passing. Sorry, guys.
I'm passing. I'm not even his, like, in his ball game. Why would you smash him?
Just because I think he would, like, do a few things.
Interesting.
I would want to see. I think he'd do a few things. I just would want to see.
He was pretty freaky. I mean, he's the only gay man that I know that had 2 husbands and would have had more. And then I was freaked out because later they were like, we aren't even gay. And I'm like,
thank you.
How did he do that?
How did he got, I'm just saying, there's some kind of magic in there that can make a straight man stay straight and screw him. I'm just saying.
But not just screw him. They married him. Yeah. And lived on this tiger sanctuary and worked for him.
That's why I'm saying there's something there. There's something there.
All right. Jason Bateman.
Sorry, guys.
Why would you pass him?
Not into it.
Okay. She's like, I don't even have an explanation. Just no. All right.
I feel like I can make him do some things.
Okay. Yeah, me too. I think he's hiding some kinks and fetishes under his, vanilla-esque.
That's what I'm saying. He's just looking for the right one. That's all.
Mm-hmm. He's never had a big girl.
Yeah, he probably ain't had chocolate either.
Ooh. You make a valid point. All right, 50 Cent. Oh, we all got a smash. He looks like he could probably do some things.
Oh, well, according to Vivica Fox, he does do some things. And he likes some things.
And yeah, with her, how you know someone has good dick is when the girl is really mad after the fact.
Thank you.
That's how you know. Like,
put all his business, all his freaky business out on the street. That
like Chris Brown, when Karrueche and him broke up, oh my gosh, she put it all out there. I was like, he got some good ding-a-ling.
See, don't be mad. Don't be mad.
All right, Billy Bob Thornton. So I was watching him on Goliath, and I just think I don't know, I guess for a while I wondered why Angelina liked him, but I can kind of see his charm. So, but yeah, y'all pass.
But she don't count because she's a little weird too.
She's a lot weird.
I like her. I like her.
I do too.
There's something not right there.
I guess she'd be made for porn. T-Pain. I just want him to have sex with me with the auto-tune.
Yeah.
Like bend over.
Yeah, it's funny.
Okay, I don't have an auto-tune voice, but I thought it would be funny. Little John.
Smash.
To the window, to the wall. You better show it all. John Cryer.
Pass.
Oh man. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a super fan. That's gotta be Martin Lawrence.
Smash.
Pass. You can't do both, Casey. You either pass it or smash it.
All right, fine.
Okay.
I love a comedian, so.
She got him. She got you, baby. She's gonna take care of you. Don't worry. Casey was undecided and forced to a decision, and I just was like, nah. He would make me laugh, which would probably take away like the intimacy of it. Because he's funny.
So. Yeah.
And I'll never forget Shanae. So.
Oh my God! There you go.
He'd be like, and I'll be singing Shanae.
Yeah. Mm.
All right. Akon.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, Akon. No love. Chance the Rapper. Well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, Chance. I just think he's cute. I don't know why I would smash him. I guess he's kind of like my undecided. Decided to give it. Tom Hanks.
Mm.
All right. King Noir. Do you know who King Noir is?
No.
I'll
go pass.
How? No, you got to go look him up. We'll get back to him later. You got to look him up, and then we'll revisit that question. But we're going to smash him. And if you don't want it, that's okay. We'll keep them all to ourselves. Jet Setting Jasmine.
And I don't even do girl. So I'm just saying.
Yeah. She is, the thing I like about King Noir and Jet Setting Jasmine is that they do this parenting sex thing where they talk about being a parent and being like in the adult industry and being like sexually open. And she's like big on breastfeeding wherever the fuck, because I feel like a woman should be able to breastfeed her child, that there's nothing sexual about a baby sucking on a titty when it's hungry. It's not sucking on it because it's, trying to, do things that they're not supposed to do. Like, it's doing it to survive. Right. And it's just a breast. You know what I mean? You can go topless at the beach. That's not for survival. Matter of fact, have you ever had your titties sunburned? That shit hurts.
Agreed.
So when I first got a pool, an above ground pool here in Baltimore, I decided that it would be a good idea to like douse myself with coconut oil because that's what I use as lotion, right? But I didn't think, because I was not thinking, obviously, that when I go outside to go swimming, that coconut oil was going to work as a sun, like a suntan lotion. So I go out there and I'm like laying in the water. It feels so good. I'm on the floaty, and like I was out there for a good 2 hours. When I came in, when I tell you I was burnt like a crispy. Like if you think of it like this, you leave something in the deep fryer for an hour. It is so hard and so black and so crunchy. That's how I felt. Like I couldn't even walk. My skin felt so tight.
Oh
but my
God.
titties were so sunburned. I had like huge blisters and had to bathe in like aloe vera forever because it was awful. So tip, don't put on lotion, coconut oil, or anything like that and go outside for 2 hours.
No bueno.
Fuck no. That shit was a horrible experience. And then I'm supposed to be on a webcam show, and I'm like, I can't cam. I can't even sit on my ass because I've got blisters the size of like asteroids.
Oh my God.
Bad for business. So if you're gonna go outside, wear UV. And she said, "Your ass." Hold on. Dump it.
Dump it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. If you could solve one unsolved mystery, what would it be?
Where's Tupac?
Where? You didn't say who killed him.
Right? No, I said where. I think he's somewhere. That's just my opinion.
I believe that that's definitely a possibility because he did do a lot of music as Machiavelli. I would want to solve the Marilyn Monroe mystery because there's so many different stories speculating as to who's responsible for her death that I've watched multiple series, like documentaries about it, and there's so many different scenarios, and all of them have really great information, so you could virtually believe any of them and they could all potentially be true, but I want to know what really happened. So if I could talk to her, I surely would be like, bitch, who killed you?
Wow.
What about you, Miss Desiree?
I'm gonna do the flip side and say who killed Biggie.
Okay.
We already know who killed Biggie, but go ahead. But yes, it would be nice to have confirmation. Like this is the thing that they always say. They are high profile, infamous people, and yet their crimes have not yet been solved. There's a reason behind it.
Right.
Conspiracy theory. Because obviously somebody's involved that they don't want you to know is involved. Therefore, they're not going to tell you who killed Biggie and who's hiding Tupac. Which I think you have him at your compound, Casey. You smoking cigars with Tupac, right?
Yup.
What is your craziest cam film moment?
I'm going to let Desirable Bottom answer that one.
Craziest cam film moment?
Cam or film. Something that crazy that happened on cams or film.
When I got a huge tip from somebody.
Yeah. Did you fall off your chair?
I was crying for sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was. It was it was hard times, and we do this as a profession and as a job for stability and stuff, and it was just crazy. The tipper was just here you go, and it was on MSC as well, and I just freaked out. It was crazy.
I was at a cam show, and I'm not going to say I don't get into it, but, sometimes you got to fake it till you make it, right? And this one particular show, I really got into it. And, when you're in an office chair, you can only lean back so far. Well, I was leaning back, and, I had my legs propped up on the desk, and I'm going. And then all of a sudden, I was going back further. Well, it snapped and broke. And all you saw were my legs in the air. And I'm on the ground they're laughing their asses off because they don't really know what's going on. All you see is my legs in the air. And I get back up, and as I'm getting back up, I'm like, yo, the chair just broke. And they're still laughing because they think I'm playing. They don't realize that it's a legitimately serious situation. And then finally I just start laughing because I'm like, that was really embarrassing. I broke a chair, but it was an old chair anyways, and I knew better. But yeah, you got to be careful. Casey, I know you've had some stuff happen.
Nothing really weird, except there was a moment where I was filming a custom video, and I think I sort of left the building and just went a little extra on it. So the whole point of the video is the guy has a bra fetish. So I was filming and all, wearing these bras and saying all these things. He wanted me to say really demeaning things. And one of the things was to give him permission to come on the bra. And that was technically the end of the video, was me giving him permission to do that. Well, I think I had gotten so deep into character that I cut, went and grabbed some creamy looking lube and doused it all over my chest and came back on camera and was like, look at what you did, look at what, and afterwards I'm like, the hell is wrong with you? That's not what he asked for, but I enjoyed it. So that was probably the strangest thing for me, is I kind of got a little too deep in the situation, but I don't regret it because it sold pretty good. So
It happens. That's so appropriate for Boob Tube.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Exactly.
So one of the shows that I saw, I can't think of the name of it. If you can think of it, let me remind me. But it has it's the show where the girl is the dominatrix, and she has her assistant is
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, I can't think of the name of it. I want to think it's like #slut or something like that. No, that's not what it is. Maybe it's called BDSM or I don't know. I don't remember the name of it. And I'm mad that I thought about it while we were talking. Because when you were talking about that, it reminded me of this scene in the show. And there was a lot of controversy about the show because they said that they were glorifying dominatrix, like the whole dominatrix lifestyle, and how her assistant, being homosexual was like this. They were like overdoing the whole I don't know. There was just a lot of controversy. I personally was excited to see that type of, kind of behind the scenes of our lives, because it definitely went more into the BDSM and dominatrix side of our business. And even though they've showed it a little bit on, have you ever watched Billions?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Love it.
I love that show.
It'll be back in a minute. Oh, I'm so excited. You don't
Yes.
have no idea. I'm so excited about that.
That was one of the things that got me into that show. Typically, I wouldn't have gotten into because stocks and bonds and all that kind of shit really isn't for me. But the fact that the woman that plays the wife of the
district attorney,
lawyer,
the state attorney,
I can't think of her name, but she played Tara on Sons of Anarchy. She was the one that played Tara. So when they showed her being a dominatrix and the whole dynamic of their lifestyle, I was like, oh, this is the show I'm going to watch. And it was interesting watching how their relationship changed and how she was the dominatrix. And then she eventually got to this point where she didn't want to be the dom anymore, and that she wanted him to be more aggressive with her. And he was like, that's not me. It's not him. Yeah, we've never been like that. It's not like something we did before. And we're reincorporating that into our life. And so it was interesting to watch how their relationship changed, because her needs changed and she evolved into a different character. And then he was like, and it's interesting because they showed how the submissive yearns for that type of attention.
Yes.
And how they need, because he's in a position of power, and it shows like a submissive, why they put themselves into that type of scenario, being a high power attorney or district attorney, and, wanting to be in a situation or a dynamic where he doesn't have to make decisions, where he can just, have someone else inflict the type of,
punishment. Yeah. Yeah. And I loved the episode where he went to see that dom without his wife. And she was like, "Oh no, you can't do
come
that."
see me. Right?
Yeah. I thought that was really, really interesting, because it's funny how prominent that storyline is, and yet it seems to go over people's head. They're not necessarily talking about that, but I'm utterly fascinated with that whole part of the storyline. Just like you, I watched it and was enjoying it, but when we got to that, I was like, "Oh, I am all in for sure now."
Because they're talking about consent. You didn't have consent. You are owned. Your wife is your primary dominatrix. And if your wife didn't give you permission, I'm not giving you permission as another dom, which is something that we don't see in the pro dom world a lot, because everyone's, chasing after that dollar. And I'm the same way. The first question I ask you before I allow you to submit to me is, are you owned by another dom? Because if you are, I want to know, do you have permission? I'm pretty sure you don't have permission to A, serve me, and B, pay me. So if you don't have permission, it's like, being in a open relationship where the person isn't asking for permission, because if I'm going to be in an open relationship, I want to know what you're doing, who you're doing. And even though it's okay, like there's still, it's not a free card to just go do whatever you want to do.
Right. Yeah. And there is a certain amount of respect that should be given in that situation. So, yeah.
So, yeah, it was interesting when she was like, I'm not going to see you. Bye, boy. Carry on. False. You got dumped.
Love
And you
it.
got passed.
Yep,
So-
all of that.
Kind of wrap things up. There's a lot of things that are being watched on TV. One of the things that I feel like a lot of people are doing is catching up on TV shows and, having to make more use of their time considering they're at home a lot more than they typically would be. And we too are watching things on TV because you can only be doing this kind of stuff so much. You got to have some sort of breakaway. And I get really involved into shows like Ozark and Little Fires Everywhere and like Power. Like I want to binge watch them because I like to spend the 6 to 8 hours just totally engaged in the storylines. I forget about what else is going on, especially with the COVID situation and like hearing about it constantly, reading about it constantly. I need a breakaway because I just found out yesterday a mutual friend of ours had passed, and I was just like, it wasn't real until it happened. You know what I mean? Till it happened to somebody close to me. So rest in peace, Daryl. And for anyone else who has been affected and has lost someone, a loved one, our hearts go out to you. So stay active, watch some TV, watch some movies, and watch Exotica TV. Hello.
Yes, especially Boob Tube.
Yes, Boob Tube. Hold on. Boob Tube. See, I thought you were going to get some goodies. It's just my tank top that's a little extra revealing. So one thing I did want to say, I do want to show love to Samantha 38G. You can find her on Twitter at Sam38G. She had to put her dog to sleep. Her dog. She had cancer. So I felt bad and told her I'd give her a little shout out. And happy birthday to Karma Real 76. Old lady. Turning 44 tomorrow. I thought it was today. I didn't realize today was the 16th. I thought it was the 17th, which I'm sure a lot of other people experience when you're working from home and don't know what day it is.
The days just go by. It's like the number or the specific day is irrelevant.
Right. If I hadn't had this plan today, I probably would not realize that it was the day that it is. I would have just been like, And you know what's funny? My phone tells me. It says the time,
right,
the day, and the day of the week. So there's really no excuse for not knowing, but I'm not looking at that. I just get involved with what I'm doing. And being a boom chicka bow wow, a boob tube superstar.
Yes.
All right. So since we're probably pretty close to wrapping things up, let us get your information, Miss Desirable Bottom. Tell us where we can find you.
Okay, you guys can follow me on Twitter at Desirable Bottom. That's the main place, or my official website at desirablebottom.com.
Simple as that. And Casey, go ahead, girlfriend. It's all on you.
Okay. So
she made cards. I'm super mad.
That's my Instagram. That's my Twitter.
Bring them closer in the middle.
I can't
there you go. Back up a little bit. Back them up. There you go.
Okay, and then that's my website. Yes, so check me out.
Oh,
beautiful.
You showed out on me. Now I don't even want to do mine. I'm gonna pout. Like, you can find me on Twitter, Platinum Puzzy, and the number 1. I don't really get on Instagram since they keep deleting my account. And my official website is queenofbbw.com. And hashtag BoobTube, hashtag EXXXOTICAtv, and that's Exotica with 3 X's, and hashtag, what else can we name it? What was the thing that we said? Relate or hate. Hashtag relator
or hate.
Yes.
So that will be all for us, except I do have one last question, Jay. This is for you.
Go for it.
He's like, yeah.
Go for it. I'm ready for you.
Famous people who have showed up to Exxxotica, or planned or unplanned.
The most entertaining planned was another rest in peace, China. the wrestler.
Oh, yes.
She was at a few different shows, and I will forever remember having to tell her to get out of the swimming pool in the at the host hotel because she had gotten naked, drunk, and jumped into the swimming pool in the middle of like open dinner hours. Like, I mean, we're not talking about just an Exotica show. We're talking about like, you know, Charlie Blum in Family of Five sitting at the bar, you know, or at the pool. And then the best unplanned was T.I. And it's funny because T.I. came to our Columbus show. Speaking of rest in peace, came to our Columbus show, and I'm pretty sure he was like one of the only people that showed up to it. But he spent. It was funny because there were so few people there that he could just kind of roam around the show without being like harassed or whatever. So he rode around on a hoverboard, like the little Segway thing. He gathered up all of our Exotica hotties, asked us if it was okay if he took them all. He then took all of our Exotica hotties because he had a show that night, like a few miles away or whatever. And listen, I mean, at that point, nobody had showed up, and we were happy just not to pay the hours of like having the dance. We're like, take them, you're good. And so he took all of our Exotica hotties, brought them to a concert, and last we heard, I think he left them there. But you know what? By that time, it wasn't our problem anymore. We were like, yeah, we relieve you of any duties. And he went, if I remember correctly, the show wasn't in Columbus. It was like somewhere like away from Columbus, like 60 miles away or whatever. And so
that's fucked up.
I think that he scooped everybody. We found out about this like days after the fact. He scooped everybody. We said, okay, go for it. They were gone. And I think he probably left them, you know, somewhere. So that was the best story. Neo was another one. We met
like Neo
at our LA show. He came in, he's like, where's Sarah J? I'm like, okay, nice. I guess you know where you're going. He's like, yep, like beeline straight to, and that dude is a small dude. He was, I'm like 6 feet tall. That he couldn't have been more than 5'5".
He's like 5'4".
Yeah. I mean, he was a little guy, but super nice guy. Like, just they were shooting the MTV Movie Awards or Music Awards at the Staples Center, which was like across the street or whatever. And he came in through the back door and wandered around Exotica for a little while. So yeah, those are we've had plenty others. Those were probably my top story getters, though. And by the way, I do want to mention, I almost jumped in for a second. I don't know if you saw the news, but I saw it today on Reddit that the owner of the Lion or the Tiger King place, the dude that took over, the guy that like with the Oakley hat on and whatever, I forget what his name was. He did an AMA today on Reddit, and he said that when he took over the zoo, they went through and cleared everything out, and he said he found jump drives of Joe Exotic having sex with animals.
Whoa.
Yep.
Okay.
So talk about you just when you thought that Tiger King couldn't go any further down the hole.
Wow.
Yeah. So who knows? Wow. It's on Reddit, and that doesn't make it true. But it was this dude doing the AMA, and
but you know, they filmed everything. That's why they even have footage.
Well, exactly.
They literally filmed everything. So
and they said,
but supposedly it was burned in the fire. Remember, they said all of the footage got lost. I don't like that guy anyways. He's just shady. He's a shady character, and the fact that he's still bringing out stuff about Joe Exotic is just like, dude, you did your piece. The dude's in jail. Like, leave him alone.
Well, and everybody still has to have there's got to be, at the end of the day, you have to remember that these shows have more writers and editors and script producers and, you know, people on staff doing this stuff than anybody. Like, it's amazing. I'm sure by no means is this guy normal. I mean, they all could have their own reality show, but that being said, you know, and as all of us know, editing can do wonders, right?
Absolutely.
So
that's why
maybe
you gotta
he's
be
just
careful.
maybe he's just kind of fucked up. No, I don't know.
Yeah. No, he's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
I
I
gotta
think
agree.
he got a raw deal on his situation, to be honest. In my opinion, I've been accused of something I didn't do, so I'm a big advocate for. And I think
Do you have any
people
lions
telling
back
the
there by
truth-
any chance?
I do
Any
not.
tigers?
I have
Okay.
0 animals. I don't have a bird, a fish, a lizard. I may have like mice that visit me, but they're not mine. I don't own them. They're like they're unwanted, as a matter of fact. I have an eviction notice at my garbage can, like, you are not wanted, please leave. But I think he got a shitty end of the deal when it came to all the people that were involved in trying to set him up, But is he a weirdo? Absolutely. So it doesn't surprise me that
I also
that
I don't think that people can keep big cats in any setting in the United States like that and have it
don't
be
think they should.
humane. Like it's just not.
I don't
That's not a
think they should.
thing. Like when you look at like how those animals need to live, like Iowa or Idaho or Oklahoma or one of those other O states. Like I know they have a lot of land, but at the end of the day, like. No
it
tigers.
doesn't matter. They're predators. They don't need you to save them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're not pets. They're not pets.
Definitely not pets. And by the way, fuck Carol Haskins. So
Carol Baskin.
Carol Baskin.
They've got a bunch of
Whatever her name is.
They've got a bunch of memes and like parodies where they're like, oh my God, the TikTok parodies of people being like, Carol Baskin. Yeah.
It's because
She
they
killed
ran
her
out of
husband.
they ran out of Epstein memes, so they've just moved on to Carol.
I just watched this thing on Gary Weinstein. Is that his name? Great something Weinstein. Harry.
Oh, what's his name? The super serial rapist dude.
The producer. Is
yeah,
it
Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey. Yeah, that was interesting.
Welcome to the world.
Right.
All right, now that we brought everybody down and you got me back on camera.
Yeah. Way to go.
Oh,
Way
man.
to go.
Yeah.
Dump.
I'm dumping. So you Carrie, you do your thing, and I'm back out. See it.
All right. See you later. All right. So we're done, right?
Yep.
We've been
Voice of
given
God. Yes, we are. Time to go home. Oh yeah, that's right. We're already
Thank you so
home.
much for watching. Are we still recording?
Yeah. Yep.
I'm like,
By the way, I'll throw out there Exotica TV. What could possibly go wrong?
nothing. It's not a big show.
Remember, nip slip. No, I'm just
Editing. So thank you so much for everyone watching BoobTube. Make sure you put hashtag BoobTube on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, anywhere that you see it, so that you can get us for our next episode and future episodes. And thank you so much for tuning in.